Oh, dude, I wonder if I did.
Probably.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, see what happens when you start fucking around. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to
Yuck.
fucking Boo Bombing Stories with Jay Hollingsworth. I am Jay Hollingsworth, and my guest this week, today, whenever you're listening to this, is the mechanable Sean McCann. What's up, Sean?
Just hanging out, dude. Ready to tell a bombing story. Get real humble.
So, is this
not gonna
related
get
to booking shows?
Yeah.
Producing shows. Okay.
Yeah.
So give a little background of you, like in the comedy or booking, world.
Yeah. So started out booking hip hop shows back, in the late '90s, early 2000s. Then moved into comedy in like 2006. And then here we are. So I would do anything from like, comedians know this, but like I used to do triple runs every week.
Ugh.
Yeah, Tonopah, Nevada, just all over the worst places in the world. But I just I went headstrong into it. So did some national tours. Actually, I don't even want to say that because they really weren't given the guy I was with. They were across the nation, that's for sure. But yeah, so then did some comedy competitions, blah blah blah. So to start this story, just to set the table here. So this is set in Bend, Oregon, Central Oregon, and I had moved there from Seattle, and I started a company. It was this entertainment company that was online for dining, so like restaurants and menus and virtual tours. Then we had event listings on there, and we did movie times, and it was really successful. I had my own radio show I did every Friday, and on 5 different stations, and I was president of the Downtown Association. I was 32, I think. And we had our own events, the Downtown Association, and we'd have them downtown Bend. And there was 8 of us on the board, and we had some pretty smart people on there, and we would do
and you
and me. I was, and so then we were doing events like the Art Hop, or then we started doing Oktoberfest, and we were pulling in huge numbers. We did it one year in 2006, and then in 2007 we changed some things up, and we're like really packed. And I think if I remember right, there was 4,000 people at this thing downtown Bend. So doing comedy shows, and I had my Bend comedy competition where actually you and I met, back in 2009 or whatever. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself, and but still you have hits and misses. So there's the setup. So it's 2007, and I got a visual for people that are watching.
Oh boy.
And I dug this out for this show. So this is actually the poster from what I'm going to talk about, my bombing story. I have it memorialized in a poster. And you can see, too, this is a very custom poster. I have light shining all over it. But what it is here, if I put it to the side, so it's like you can see a helicopter, and there's all these people that are hanging on to it, each other with guitars, and they've got microphones.
Who did that?
A guy named Mike Peterson.
Okay.
And by the way, he's an amazing drummer. He would drum for the Seahawks drum line,
Okay.
So a lot put into this. And so you'd be like, well, that's cool, dude. Helicopters and people hanging from each other and guitars and mics. What's that all about? Is that just being creative? No, let me tell you my bombing story. So here it is. So I had this company, BenNights.com, and we were doing what we call the 2-year spectacular. And so like I just told you on the setup, I was doing pretty good with Oktoberfest.
You were known around town.
Yeah, man. I had my own radio show. I'm in my early 30s. So, all that stuff together, dude, sprinkle a little ego in there, man. You're like, I'm the shit. I can pretty much do whatever I want in this town. Yeah, no. So this is the 2-year spectacular. And the 2-year spectacular was presented by Clearwire.
Clearwire, wow.
Yeah, remember that? And so what I did is I got a hold of the Les Schwab Amphitheater, and it holds 8,500 people. It's right on the Deschutes River. It's right at the old mill, shops at the old mill down in Bend. It's where everybody goes, man. And so this is where every year you go watch, back in the day, Tom Petty, or you'd see Willie Nelson. You'll see Black Crowes there this year. Those circuit rock bands go through it, Leonard Skinner, all that stuff. and it packs out. I mean, 8,500 people filling it up. Then every Sunday they're having like this Sunday thing, filling it up, free music, all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, dude, that's already got a built-in audience. You saying you do something at the Les Schwab Amphitheater, that's huge already. That's going to bring people in. So it's all set. So now just do all the stuff as if it's packed, 8,500 people there. I'm talking spend the money as if they are, produce it as if they are, like line it up
always
as
sells
if they
out.
are.
It always sells out. There's no reason to think it wouldn't when you're involved, right?
You get it? Because if they can do it, I can do it 10 times better.
Except I know you, so I'd be like, hold on, Sean.
And I'd say, nah, dude, I got it. God, I wish you were my Barbara, the Hannah to my Barbara. Do you remember that Patrice joke?
Oh yeah.
Oh God. So here's the rundown, dude. And I'm actually I don't really want to use names of who was at this because I don't want to give them any. I don't work with them anymore. But
different strokes, people. I get it.
Now, different strokes. I'm going to mention him because Todd Bridges was on this show, and for those that don't know, which side note. This is when I learned there was a generational gap between me and other people that were younger than me. Is I was dating a girl, and I made some reference to what you're talking about, Willis. I didn't say it to her. I'm not that dude, but I made some reference to that. And she's like, what's that? Who's Willis? I think she said. And I was like, oh, no. And so then we had that whole talk, and I had that realization.
And probably 75% of the people hearing this are saying that right now.
No idea.
Look up different strokes.
Yeah, and so there's a guy, you hear there's a phrase, what you're talking about, Willis, and Todd Bridges is Willis. He played the brother to Gary Coleman's character, whatever his name was. And so we brought him, and then we had soca, reggae, dance hall. There's a guy, Alex Duncan, up in Seattle, he's amazing. He's a pretty well-known reggae guy up there. And then we had a 70s and 80s TV show theme song band. On purpose. Todd Bridges, right?
Yeah.
And then we had some alternative rock, and then I had this guy who considered himself a comedian, but it just wasn't. Yeah. And then a couple other
juggler,
people.
Right?
He was a well, he juggled. So then you're like, okay, so dude, let's do this big. So then what I do is I go to Bend is considered the beer the beer capital of like the country. This is where like the most beer per capita. What do they call them? The specialty beers, craft beers.
Yeah.
So you have like the Schutz Brewery, people know Silver Moon's out there, all these different places. So I had great relationships with all them. So they came out, set up shop. So now I got like my clients involved for my company. I got them all involved because I want to make sure they're part of something big. So, and then I have this whole strategy where you have to like the people that come in have to buy a ticket with their cash. They can't buy beer with cash. They have to use tickets. That way the tickets all get redeemed for their cash. So I know I get every last cent that actually, because they want their money.
Yeah.
So, dude, the production was on point. I probably had a team of 20 that were out there.
Okay, before you keep going, let me ask a couple questions. So this is your event you're going to be holding at this place that holds 8,500 people, right?
Yep.
Okay. How much what was your deposit to reserve the place for that?
So that was $0 was the deposit, which was really cool. But I had to spend, and this is a long time ago, if I remember right, it was $6,500 to use it. So I had an in with them. And so I didn't have to, we were cool like that, but I had to pay for it still, but they also gave me a discount.
Okay. So $6,500 for the venue.
Yeah.
And then how much did you spend on all this other shit leading up to it?
Oh God. I'd say when we talk about advertising, and I had deals too, because I had deals with all the TV places and they were sponsors, but they were sponsors. So I got cuts. So I got discounts. I'd say after everything's said and done, probably about 15,000 into it.
Okay. 15,000. Okay. So you're invested 15,000 before the door opens.
Before the door opens, but there's going to be things that are happening that are going to continue to cost money, like that happen after the doors have opened, that are additional expenses on top of like just paying for the performers and stuff.
you weren't aware of.
No, I was aware of. I was all about it. So that's what this is, and this is where it starts to explain this poster a little bit better. So then I'm like, okay, so we got beer. Then I went and got a bunch of my other clients from the real nice restaurants in town, had them come in. Then I got, what did I have? 10 shitters, had to rent all those, right? And then you have to rent sound, and you have to rent the people with all the scaffolding and all that. So you got to get all that stuff up. Then I hired a camera crew. And you're like, dude, why'd you hire a camera crew? I'll tell you why, dude, because this is how it went down. So first, how it happens is we had some opening. I think we had an opening comedian come out. I think it was Joe Fontenot, actually, back in the day, if anybody remembers him.
R.I.P.
So, yeah. So he had him come out, and he did some opening thing, and it fed well into Bend at the time. And then after that, we had a band that just came out and played a little bit. Now, meanwhile, it's early, so we're just having people just play some music, and people are trickling in. And I use that word like people were trickling in, like that person and that person and that person. And now you're standing behind the stage, along with the RVs that are set up back there to make sure we had green rooms for everybody.
Oh, fuck.
Catering, all that. And you're just watching as you're looking over at the ticket area, and you're like, dude, where is everybody? And it was free to get in, by the way. So we even, always charge. That implied value. That's one of the things I learned. Free people don't come to free stuff because there's no value in something that's free.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm watching, and people aren't coming in. Now, here's where, you can only drag out the music for so long because you have other acts that have to go on, and people are leaving that night, and it's only a one-night thing. And can
I ask you one other thing too, real quick?
Yeah.
So, this 8,500 seat place it always sells out. So if this place sells out, what do you make off of? What were you expecting to make?
I was gonna make right around $100,000 after everything was said and done.
Perfect. That's what I need to know. You're 15 grand in, but that's no big because you're gonna get about 85 grand afterwards.
I'm putting in 10%, 15%. Yeah, man.
I get it.
So along with that, because I knew that this was gonna be such a great ROI, I had to start on one of the things that I had planned out because it was taking too long for people to show up, and I just had to go for it. So I would say, though, luckily, when I tell you this next part, luckily at this point, the highest amount of people that were going to come were there. I would say, if you're like, dude, how many people were in that 8,500 spaced field? Oh, God, and I was just going to exaggerate. When we're here to talk about bombing, I was actually going to bump it up. So I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
100. So you ready for what I did with 100 people?
Wait, hold on. Don't forget what you're about to say. And it's 100, which is you didn't know it at the time, but you're maxed out right now. It's not going to get any more than 100. And how far into you since doors have opened?
Oh, no, I don't know that. In my head, everybody's just coming.
Saying.
Yeah, they're all coming in their own sweet time. And I'm running out of time. Because I got a big thing that I have to do.
How far in? Wait. How long ago did the doors open? Have you been open for an hour?
We've been open 2 hours.
Oh my!
If I'm right, it's a 4-hour event. If I can remember.
All right, go on. Sorry. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, by the way, just to get this out of the way, it was on a Saturday, and it was from 2 to 6.
All right.
So here's what happened. So then I was just like to this dude, Hans, I was like, start filming, man. Just start filming. So he's got his crew, 5 people over there, all set up with cameras, different angles.
One camera for each person.
But here's why. Because then here's what happens, dude. There's a band that goes up on stage, and they start playing this song, and you kind of recognize it. And you're like, what the holy shit, that's the theme song to Different Strokes. And then for 1,000 feet up in the sky, a helicopter off in the distance. And it's coming, and then it gets real low. And now it's over the Deschutes water, over the river, Deschutes River. It swings around and lands on the field in a cornered off spot, lands on the field. They pump up the music that they're playing live because they do those 70s and 80s theme songs. Todd Bridges comes out. Dude, I saw him. There was no energy. He was deflated. Because you got to understand, I was seeing it from standing on the ground. He saw it from the 2,000 feet up.
Oh, God.
He's like, dude, there's nobody there. So yeah, sorry about the story, bro. So then,
shut the fuck up.
So then, so then it landed. He runs up on stage, and so for the people, because he's a professional, he got on the mic and he was singing, the theme song to Different Strokes. Now, here's what sucks about that is because now perception or perspective or whatever completely shifts when something like this happens. Imagine if you have 8,500 people at a show, hype, music's been playing, then all of a sudden, like out of the side, the theme song for Different Strokes starts. The whole crowd will start singing it.
Yeah.
You understand where my head was with producing all this? They're going to start singing it. They're going to be stoked just on that and feel a connection with the band. Then what happened? Are you telling me there's a helicopter that lands and Todd Bridges actually comes out of the helicopter and sings it?
He can hear all them singing over the helicopter.
And he's getting hype. And I knew in that moment that because dude, I was friends with him back in that day. He came to Bend off and we got to be good friends friends. Sorry.
Right.
Not good friends. I knew this was, I knew he was really trying to do it still, and this is in 07, but I knew him since 06 or just in 05. And I was like, dude, this is a moment for him that a nobody except the one that runs this town can provide for this guy. Like, this is going to be super cool.
And you ended up giving him probably one of the worst fucking memories of his life. That might have been where he's like, "Oh, I'm over. I'm done."
Yeah, he's like, this is that, and he was looking for just one more thing, and he didn't know he was going to find it here. But when he got here, he was like, "Oh shit, that was the moment," and I ended everything for him. So then what ended up happening is we finish off the rest of the show. You have to, right? So people, after that happened, and the fun of that band was over, then we had, which just sucked. See, you have to understand too, by the way, Jimmy Schubert and Billy Gardell were supposed to both be at this too. And so I was hoping that was going to work out well, but unfortunately there was outstanding reasons why that didn't happen. So then we were left with this other dude who closed the show down, and appropriately people scattered out at that point. But I guess at the end of this, not to just bomb during it and have your ego crushed and your wallet destroyed and all these types of things, but dude, it screwed up some relationships I had with my clients.
Oh, I bet.
So I had to go around town for the next 2-3 weeks, and I had to put a lot of those fires out. And I don't think I lost anybody, but I do remember, now that I say that as I was trying to do something again in the future, most of them wouldn't do it if it was too risky.
All right. So,
as a matter of fact, dude, just sorry, but to even prove that, so in the 2009 Bend Comedy Competition, I was almost no sponsor at all. I was almost sponsorless. And it took after that one, when they saw how great that worked out, that I had full sponsorship completely sold out on 2010.
So, okay. I'm trying. So when it's all now, did you pay all the band and everything up front, or was it at the end?
Yeah. Everybody got paid because I had sponsor money too. Right? Yeah. So it worked. So I was like, in my mind, dude, the sponsor money covers, a lot of the acts,
right.
So that's all covered. It's all the other shit. Like, I still got to pay for the shitters and for the sound, and oh God.
So you lost 15 grand, or what was the expenses that were ongoing that you were talking about?
Oh, that was the helicopter.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because we had to get air clearance, so we had to deal with the FAA. We had to, and it was cool. The helicopter people were really stoked to do it, but they weren't stoked enough to do it for free.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
So 15 grand, you basically lost.
Yeah.
Then, you have the footage?
No, footage is gone, so I don't even have that. And he even got like real creative apparently when he was doing it, so he did a lot of zooms to make sure that he framed out everything. But dude, That comedian that closed got a ride in that helicopter. Other people. I didn't get a ride in the helicopter. Like, dude, there was no win for me at all in any of it.
So one of the things we do
Man.
on the fucking Boo show is what did you learn from that, and or what would you have changed?
Oh yeah. So like I told you, nothing's free. You got to have value. But what I learned is that you have to remove your ego and be realistic. That's so your ego can come into play when you're like, going through your motions and actually producing something. But dude, you got to, before you even get to that point of doing something, you got to remove your ego and look at it realistically and be like, okay, what's the reality I live in here? What are the expenses around this? How much risk am I actually, willing to take on this thing? Look at, if it does completely fall apart, be good with that. It's kind of like, I think, playing the stock market. It's that kind of thing. You got to weigh it out.
Yeah.
And don't dude, I think that's what I think cockiness and arrogance can actually be helpful in certain situations when you're trying to produce shows like this or trying to make something happen, because there's almost, you have to have the idea like, dude, there's nothing I can't do, because those are the things that work, like Kanye, one of the finest hip-hop artists to have ever lived. Genius. Go get Donda. I love it. But dude, yeah, so I learned that. Also, don't invest money you don't have. That's a huge thing. Again, it goes back to, lose it. If you're going to lose it, you have to be good with losing it. And on the risk part, you have a choice. When you take risks, sometimes you're taking a risk because it's the least expensive way to go, whether that's financially or emotionally or whatever. And you should really weigh that out. Sometimes you should, sometimes it's better to spend more currency on something to get a better outcome or less risk.
Would you have, going back, it was a life experience though. You wouldn't take that away. You'd still have done it.
Yeah, no, because I learned so much off of it.
Sometimes
Even just
you have to
things I'm not
shoot
talking
your
about.
shot.
So, and sometimes we don't learn from our mistakes. We just keep making them. So, well, you know what I've noticed, by the way? I don't like, so those that watch the HWP podcast, which is live every Tuesday, except right now it's every Wednesday while we finish out production on another show that one of the hosts can't make for Tuesdays. That I'm in a different angle right now, so I don't mess those up. Dude, what's up with the color of my skin right now?
Well, mine's all
green.
fucked up. I'm like red.
We look like a shitty Christmas special.
A sideways light.
Okay, right. So speaking of
perfect
bombing
way to
shows,
end on that bomb. Where can people follow you? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, follow me at the McCannibal on all platforms except OnlyFans, but soon to be only. And then catch me on the HWP program. Like I said, it'll be live every Wednesday until we say it's back to Tuesdays, and that's with me, Jay, Tyler, and Manny. Great time. We film live.
Yes, and thank you for telling us your bombing story, Sean.
Yeah, man, my pleasure, bro.
And I think you have another one. We'll have you come back on and do it. But until next time, bon voyage. Bombs away.
Oh, is this the ending? Oh no.
Boo. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck. Okay, bye.